Hey guys, I decided to do a video about this recent incident that happened at a Carmine's restaurant in New York. Apparently, a fight broke out when some Texans were asked to give their proof of vaccination, and the Texans decided to take it upon themselves to beat up the hostess. And the Young Turks reported on this, and we all know the Young Turks are very thorough in their journalism and always make sure to completely look very deeply and research into the incidents that they report on. So let's have a look at what they had to say.
That was the scene in New York City where a group of, tourists from Texas showed up to get into an indoor dining area at a restaurant in the Upper West Side. And when presented with the fact that they need to show their vaccine proof, at least one dose of a vaccine proof, fights broke out instead. So let's get to some of the details of what happened. The attack happened outside Carmine's restaurant on the Upper West Side early Thursday evening. The 22-year-old hostess asked the group of Texans to show proof of getting the COVID vaccine in order to dine in the restaurant, which is part of New York's executive order that went into effect this week. Law enforcement sources said that the hostess was then repeatedly punched in the face and body and sent to the hospital. So Carmine's, that restaurant, said that the incident was a shocking and tragic situation when one of our valued employees is assaulted just for doing their job, as is required by city policies and trying to make a living. So the three suspects, they're 21, 44, and 49. They're gonna be facing some charges. We don't know exactly what those charges are yet, but there could be multiple levels. Assault in the third degree will get you a misdemeanor charge and punishable by up to 1 year in the local jail, 3 years probation, or lesser penalties like conditional discharges and fines and all those things. Second degree gets you other things. It gets a little higher. I'm not seeing it's gonna get much up to like the first degree with the B violent felony with a sentence of 25 years in prison. That's not gonna happen. But there's a range they can go with. We'll see exactly what happens here, but the real problem is the fact that a vaccine request from a hostess who's doing her job got this kind of response.
Yeah, no. They need to set an example here. They need to charge them with really serious crimes, and they need to put them in jail for at least a year. So why am I saying that, guys? Normally we talk about criminal justice reform, and America, generally speaking, punishes too much, not too little. But in this case, if they just let people off with fines, it's going to encourage more violence. Like, this is a nonstop violence by the right wing. And whenever they don't like their way, they go, I have the freedom. I have the freedom to spread deadly diseases to you. Now I have the freedom to swing my arms wildly and punch you in the face several times. No, you do not have that freedom. No, you're impinging upon my rights when you hit my face. So they should send a very clear message and charge them with very serious crimes. They punched that woman in the face multiple times, and God knows what kind of damage they could have done if they weren't stopped eventually. And so if you don't put an end to it, vigilante violence from the right wing, thinking that they're defending freedom from government tyranny at Carmine's, from pasta tyranny at Carmine's. I'm joking, but I'm not. They're going to do way more violence as we go forward.
Yeah, and I'm out here in this area. I live in Jersey, right next to.
I'm take a moment here and go, man, Senka's really suggesting that they throw the book at these people. We got to do something about this right-wing violence, right?
New York, and the really sad part about this is how many other options they had, because you can still eat outside, you can still order food, you can still enjoy the city in a variety of different ways. And what's important is to really, for the same people who obviously always talking about the rights to privacy, don't want to hear that. The same people who don't want to deal with the consequences of the choices that they make. If you don't want to get vaccinated, we're not forcing you to do it. The country's not forcing you to do it. However, if you don't get vaccinated, then there's going to be places that you can't enter. There's going to be places that you can't go. However, many Americans are so childish that they just can't handle that. And as you pointed out, and as we just saw from the video, this type of radicalization is hitting the streets. And unfortunately, because
Man, yeah, radicalization is definitely hitting the streets. He certainly got that right.
so many people are not getting vaccinated, the numbers are continuing to spread. And as mass mandates and different types of mandates like this persist, the anger is going to continue to grow. So, like you said, there needs to be an example made out of them so that people know that there will be consequences if they decide to do this.
It's weird how folks maybe come up from Texas. You know, a lot of people from different states, especially when it's more of the conservative type of states. And I don't know these folks' background, but the one definitely thing is, you come to our state, you follow our rules. Did you not know New York had this put in place? Did you not know that these liberal bastions were doing things like this to make sure people are protected and have these different policies in place? We know what Governor Abbott's doing down in Texas. So if you go down to Texas, you can understand what you're gonna get yourself involved with, whether you like it or not. It's what the locals may say. So why doesn't that apply here? You're gonna travel up to New York, and then, I can't believe you let me in the restaurant without my vaccine. What is this? Where have you been? Where have you been living? Do you not know what's been going on? Is this a surprise to anybody?
Yeah, that's a great point, JR. Whenever you go down there, they do that weirdly terroristic threat of like, not around these parts, huh? Right? All right, well, not around these goddamn parts in New York. And by
Wait, he's comparing these people to terrorists. Like, it's a terroristic threat.
By the way, what used to be all of America, you're not allowed to punch people. That isn't your goddamn freedom. I know these lunatics have lost their minds. Oh, I have total freedom to do anything I want, right? Oh, I can drive 200 miles per hour in your residential area and maybe it kills your kids, but I have freedom. Government tyranny, no way, man. You know what? The government tyranny to put a mask on, government tyranny to put pants on or underwear on. I'm gonna show my junk at the mall. Freedom, freedom, and they believe it. They believe it. I swear, they'll watch this video and they'll be like, that's a good point. Why aren't I showing my junk? Don't tread on me with underwear, right? Well, in a couple of ways.
Kinds of treads.
Yeah. So, but listen, guys, you're mad at Mayor Bill de Blasio for passing that law or that rule. That's a different thing. You punch a hostess in the face for no goddamn reason because of your stupid entitlement. Think about their mentality. I'm entitled to go into that restaurant. I'm entitled to punch you in the face if I even disagree with you a little bit. No,
You're right. I mean, somebody who would do this would have to be really entitled. I mean, like the entitlement attitude that you just have the right to punch people in the face that you disagree with. Yeah, these people need to be charged with serious crimes.
You're entitled to a jail cell for at least a year. Let's go.
So just to recap what it is that we just watched. Cenk Uygur and the people at the Young Turks feel that these people are violent thugs and that they should be punished to the fullest extent of the law, and that a major example should be made out of them. And so hey, I mean, I get it. That he compared them to terrorists. So why don't we take a little closer look at exactly what happened at that place? Because as you know, here on V Radio, I'm a stickler for really getting to the truth of a matter. So here's some good footage that I found. I'm gonna credit the West Side Rag channel for this. Let's take a look and see if we can find these violent right-wing Trump-supporting extremists who need to be punished to the fullest extent of the law with, and a serious example should be made out of them. Okay, so over here, this looks like the hostess, skinny Asian lady. Now this place is definitely diverse in their staff. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, this must be the right-wing element showing up to go after this lady. Yep, yeah, you see these right-wingers beating the crap out of this Asian girl or trying to choke her and punch her? Well, man, these damn Texans need to learn that, the rest of the country is just not their playground. Oh boy. Yeah, that's definitely some serious right-wing violence. You see that punch they threw at her over there? That was rough. It's a good thing that we have this CCTV footage to show us what happened, when these right-wingers attacked this place. And, but again, look at this. I think this is the manager here. Black woman. I'm sure that she'll be fine, be able to get to the bottom of all this, right? She'll be able to calm these right-wingers down, obviously, right? You know, I'm not so sure that these are right-wing Trump supporters. I'm not so sure. I mean, I'm not sure if they fit the mold. And they punched that girl in the face. They choked her. They were pretty violent. But, I mean, you know, you heard Senk. I mean, they deserve to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Let's take a look at some footage that does have sound. Okay, so that other video didn't have any sound. Maybe we'll get a little more insight into the right-wing, Trump-supporting, MAGA hat-wearing, violent conservative behavior going on here. So here we have the manager who's going to talk to these right-wing extremists and try to calm them down. Let's see what goes on in this conversation, you know, because there might be a race issue at play. So if anybody had called these right-wing extremists, like, say, a racial slur, you would think that would be the first thing that they would tell the manager when they were reporting what happened to them. Let's see what they say. She keeps walking up on us. When we went in, she kept walking up on us. So there was no racial slur, you know, because that would have been the first thing they would have said, right? But apparently that's not what happened. So, you know, they decided to take it upon themselves to attack this little Asian girl who's like, you know, a quarter of their size because she kept walking up on them. So let's see if we can learn some more about what happened. Because, you know, I believe these right-wing, you know, activists basically responded to this situation the following day. Let's have a look at that. Oh, I guess these right-wingers have support of another organization. Let's see what goes on here. I mean, these are clearly racist people. In fact, I think I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 black employees here. That's obviously what the problem is that this was white racist people trying to use mask and vaccine mandates to prevent black people from getting into this restaurant. You know, like these black diners over here that are just kind of chilling out, ignoring this nonsense. You know, obviously this is a racist establishment, which is why these black people are sitting over here. You know, without any problems. Let's see what else we got going on. Wait. That's what happened? Was a black person got called the N-word? That's interesting. Why is it that these right-wing extremists didn't report that to the manager? I thought she said something about, what was it? Oh yeah, she kept walking up on us. She kept walking up on us. That's what that was about. So here comes some more black people going into this racist restaurant. Uh-oh. So, according to him, that hostess that we just walked outside who wasn't saying anything to anybody, needed to be held back. I don't think that's what happened, but okay, let's go.
These black women were supposed to be the aggressors. They were supposed to be...
This white man said he was a white American. So that's your privilege to bump a black woman? That's your privilege? That's your privilege? That's how you want to talk. A white people want to white you.
We don't care about that.
You can see all the black patrons inside who are looking like, what the hell is the matter with you people? Nope.
You will see a Carmine's employee antagonizing these women. She was restrained and brought into the restaurant, and at that time, a black manager came out and apologized for that employee's behavior, invited the entire party back into the restaurant.
Wait a second. Is that what happened? Let's take a look. Alright, so let's go back to this. We got the hostess standing over here. And, let's see how this played out again. Yeah, it's obvious she's the one who needed to be restrained. That's what was going on. Because 3 people were punching her in the face. Yeah, you know, what I'm betting here is Black Lives Matter probably didn't know that this video was available. And much like Antifa, who's been getting humiliated a lot lately by CCTV footage, they were probably banking that the only footage that was available was that cell phone video I just showed you. Inconvenient, I guess.
As they were walking into the restaurant, the hostess once again walked by them and dropped the N-bomb. The 3 women did after she dropped the N-bomb, the 3 women did a double take and followed her out the restaurant, and that's the melee you saw. That's the melee you saw. I charge Carmine's with trying to cover up their employees' actions by using the vaccination passport as an excuse.
Cancel Carmine! Cancel Carmine! Cancel Carmine!
Okay, so once again, they're suggesting that it was a racial slur that is what led to these women deciding to walk outside and attack that Asian woman. But that's, again, you know, if that was the case, why wasn't that what they led off with when they were complaining to the manager? Let's listen to that again. Okay, so we're now back to the part where the black manager is going to talk to these right-wing extremists about what happened. And let's, you know, again, if a racial slur was what set this off, then you would think that would be the first thing they would have said, especially considering they were talking to a fellow African American who was the manager who was handling this complaint. All right, so I'm going to turn this up a little bit so you can hear. Pay attention very closely to what the patrons say to the manager. She keeps walking up on us. And again, if this was all started by a racial slur, why didn't they lead off with that in the complaints to the manager? I smell bullshit. So, an awful lot of really interesting conversations has since taken place in the Young Turks comment section because of all the assumptions that were being made about what took place here. And I want you to pay close attention to it. While a lot of it was extremely humorous to read, this also points to exactly what I was saying, that first of all, our racial activism is leading people to make assumptions about white people, which is exactly one of the things that happens. And then the polarized nature of our politics lead people to blaming conservatives, Texans, and Trump supporters. None of which had anything to do with anything that happened that day. So first, let's begin by looking at some comments about just how severe people feel this situation should have been treated. They put her in the hospital? They should be in prison then. Who the heck do they think they are? They don't have the right to hurt an innocent. They may soon have the distinction of being jailed for getting hangry. And when in prison, they should share a cell with a cellmate who rapes them without a condom. After all, it's his God-given right to give you AIDS if he wants to, right? Can't be putting a condom on to prevent the spread of a deadly disease, because that's tyranny. If you think they should be imprisoned, your way of thinking isn't the right direction. They should be executed. They should be shot in the head and thrown in a ditch. That's what needs to be done with these people, not jail. I hope she sues the meatballs out of them. Regardless of that time, they sit in a jail cell. They should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. That was ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous. That's what fighting for your freedom looks like. Get used to it. You will be seeing more of it. Yes, because punching a 22-year-old hostess is fighting for your freedom. That was sarcasm. Grow a backbone and go fight a grown man your own size to fight for your freedom. You know, of course, these people don't realize they're talking about Black Lives Matter protesters. You do remember when Senk compared them to terrorists, right? Well, this is what conservatives consider freedom. The right to assault you if you don't conform to my beliefs. You know, Antifa, BLM. Anyway, this is what conservatives do. Remember the insurrection? Oh, man. So, yep, now he's comparing Black Lives Matter activists to the insurrection rioters on January 6th. I thought that was supposedly unacceptable and a complete false dichotomy, or what was it? False equivalency. Right. Not a false dichotomy. They are not conservative, in quotes. How many times do you come across liberal, anti-mask, anti-vaccines, persons? I cannot think of a single one in my friends, but every single one of my conservative friends are anti-mask, anti-vaccine. So there is really a good chance it was conservatives. Not to mention, it is conservative talk shows pushing anti-mask, anti-vaccine, and violence towards being asked for proof. I honestly thought this was titled Terrorists Attack Hostess, and needless to say, I was right. And by the way, the comparisons to January 6th don't stop there. Ooh, I get it now. It's the same kind of tourist that visited the Capitol on January 6th. Stop it, hilarious! Ha 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 ha! Black Democrats? Well, if you can't blame them, let's blame conservatives and Republicans in general. You see? More radical right-wing violence. Who else besides me are getting really tired of these animals? Republicans are a fascist party trying to take control of a nation that's become a failed state, and conservatism is anti-progress. Count me in, dude. Being conservative is practically a hate crime at this point. What are you talking about? Assault and battery is punished more severely in Texas than it is in New York. He's not talking about legal severity, just how hateful and violent conservatives are behaving en masse. Whatever it is, still obviously doesn't discourage this type of savage behavior. He's talking about Black Lives Matter. Whatever the time it needs to be a felony charge which can ban them from gun ownership and so on. Sink is right. Make an example out of those crazy right-wingers. State prison, you think? You going to look any farther into this story before rushing to judgment? Look for the New York Times story about these, quote-unquote, crazy right-wingers. The comments start to evolve as the real truth of the situation comes out in some pretty hilarious ways. These Texans are a total disgrace to their state, as is their governor, Greg Abbott. Of course, Texas wants every baby to be born and grow, also wants COVID and new variants to be born and grow. That's really what the core of this is any chance they can take to go after Texas because of the abortion ban. So that's why they went, oh, people from Texas did something bad? Let's jump on that and make some serious assumptions. Of course, we could always blame Trump. I completely agree that examples need to be made of people like this. This madness needs to end. They should be sued for literally every penny they have, and they should be made homeless. Normal Americans are fed up with these Trumpist anti-vaxxers. They will get away with BS, plea agreements, but society can make examples of them. They may think twice in their job if their jobs go away and their online accounts are blasted with bots and people shaming them. This is why the right wins. They scare people with violence. Now violence is never the answer, but public shaming and consequences are the answer. Peacefully ruining their lives may be the best option. Oh. How is this anything other than a politically motivated hate crime? Black Lives Matter is committing politically motivated hate crimes. Thanks, Trump and Trumpists, for what our country has come to. Yeah, it's clearly Trump's fault that Black Lives Matter attacks somebody over a mask or vaccine mandate. So now we get to the part where we just blame white people who weren't even present. Easiest way to stop the soft pedaling on this issue is to have black guys with dreads reenact everything the MAGS guys are doing. The imagery would shock the nation into action. To which I replied, so let me see if I get your perspective here. You want to stop the soft pedaling on this issue by having black guys with dreads reenact what happened to shock the nation into action by reenacting what 3 black women did? Boy, this didn't age well. Let's blame the invisible white people some more. As tourists, they should have respect for the locals' customs, traditions, and culture, and obviously the laws in their place. That's asking a lot from white Americans. Have you ever met most Americans? Not sure why we Americans, white or otherwise, are really claiming any Texans right now. So, yep, it's white people, guys. This one makes me wish I could use that Google extension to change white to black so that we could, read this, as the racist comment that it actually is and have people call it out. But don't forget, when I mentioned that all of this is creating, blatant racism towards white people, I'm told that I'm wrong and that doesn't happen and that it won't happen and that that's all, just nonsense. It's happening, folks. Now, this is when the waters start to get muddied because more information was finally coming out about this. So you get to watch the left eat itself. They need a damn felony charge. That person was doing their job. Go the fuck home if you can't comply with the rules of the establishment or the state. Reminds me of the Americans who come to Europe and then get angry when someone doesn't speak English. Yeah. Black Lives Matter did that. Definitely solid jail time. These people need to understand that there are consequences. To what this woman here replies, "You racist Trumper," because she called out, basically these people, because none of these people actually know that this was Black Lives Matter activists the whole time, and so now the Black Lives Matter activists are showing up to the comment section to call people racist for, going along with what Cenk was saying. So more from this Eliana Woodridge person. BLM is stating there is more to the story. Oh, wait a second. I thought that the white supremacy pyramid said that saying that there's two sides to every story is supposed to be covert white supremacy. Interesting. Anyway, including racist remarks and threats by the staff. Allegedly, there is also video. We'll see what truth comes out. BLM to stage a protest tomorrow. I got into a little bit of an argument with her, so I said there is no video of any racist comments or threats. There is a video of someone claiming that those things happened. To which she said, "So you don't believe the black women in BLM? Go back to Fox News. They are saying the same thing as you." This whole believe thing is also on the racist white pyramid. You're supposed to just believe everything, white supremacy pyramid, that you're supposed to just believe everything people of color say. And I said, is this one of those believe, people of color no matter what stories? Like the two girls who started a fight on the subway and claimed that they were attacked by a racist gang only to find out they were lying? I'm going to be using that video in a different video later, but yeah, this is a legit thing. These two black girls started a fight on a bus, and they claimed that they were attacked by a racist gang, and then the CCTV camera came out, or video came out, and disproved the entire thing. So, again, you don't automatically disbelieve things that people of color say, but this notion that we have to automatically believe everything they do say is just bullshit. Once again, you belong with Fox News. They sound just like you. And I said, well, you heard Cenk. These people should be made an example of. Those BLM members should be arrested and put in jail for at least a year. So the comments continue to stay juicy because people just really didn't take any time to look into this. They heard fight over mask mandate, they heard Texan, and then all of the racist and, it just bigoted assumptions followed. And the comment that I made was, let's see if TYT stays on this side of it when they realize that, when they find out that BLM is now protesting against the restaurant. And as the person who replied to me said after I got 14 likes for that, they won't bring up this story ever again. When you read the comments on this video, every idiot TYT supporter, all thought that they were just white conservatives. So, we can laugh about the stupidity of this situation, and obviously a lot of it was humorous, but at the same time, this really proves my point that, first of all, again, polarization is so high that if something bad happened, it's automatically assumed that it must be, the other side. It must be conservative, right-winger, Trumper, whatevers from Texas, or white people. That was really, honestly, the most telling to me. It must be white people. So, everything that I've been saying this whole time about the division and how far out of control it's gotten, is personified in this video. So, thanks again for tuning into V Radio. Please consider supporting me on Patreon so that I can continue to do this work. I've got more content coming for you guys. I've been doing some research into some videos. That's one of the reasons why I haven't put anything out lately, is because of the fact that I'm trying to put together some good stuff. So thanks again for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. You can go to the link to my website, which is the Linktree website, for different ways to contact me or participate in my social media, because people don't always get notifications for my videos. And consider supporting me on Patreon or Subscribestar. Thanks again.